Here's how I went from making just a little bit over $40,000, barely scraping by, to making 150K plus within 5 years. I'm not making this video to brag, but I want to share what I learned along the way to help out people that are trying to advance their career and take care of their families. And I know what it's like to not make enough to take care of your basic needs because, at one point my mom had to help me out with rent, right? And it sucked. So if this video helps out one person that's in the situation that I was in 5 years ago, I would consider it time well spent. A little bit of background. I'm a data analyst. That means I pull reports for senior executives to help them make decisions that either increase revenue or reduce cost. And here's a snapshot of my salary progression. So back in 2017, when I finished college, I was working contract data analyst jobs at $42K per year. And at this point, a lot of my work was not very sophisticated. It was mostly data entry. And then within a year, I got a financial analyst role at a medium-sized semiconductor company, reporting directly to the CFO. And at this point, I was making $55K per year. And then a year after that, I joined a Fortune 500 as an e-commerce analyst. And when I started, my compensation was $70K. And then after some raises and promotions, at the end of my tenure here in 2022, I was actually making $130K at that point. And while I was working here, I enrolled in business school and completed a master's in business analytics. And upon graduation, this is in 2022, I actually got the opportunity to join a big tech as a data analyst. And that's what pushed me over the 150K mark. Here are some actionable steps that you can take to speed up your career trajectory. When I first started out, I just did whatever my boss asked me to do, right? Like, you want this slide deck? You got it. You want this Excel sheet? All right, it'll be in your inbox in the next hour or so, right? It was fine, but you're not gonna get a lot of career progression this way. And the other problems that I had is that I knew Excel, I knew PowerPoint, but I wasn't really technically proficient in a lot of tools that I need to really excel as a data analyst. So there's my Excel joke for you. See what I did there? So I realized I really needed to upskill myself, right? So I started taking courses online on Excel, SQL, Tableau, and Python. And these skills ultimately qualify me for better opportunities, and it's the reason why I got that Fortune 500 job that paid better. And I was also learning a lot on the job by just observing the senior leaders around me, how they think about the challenges that they face, and how they find different levers to pull to solve these problems, right? And what I've concluded is that, in order to be successful and make more money in your career, technical skills are important, but these are like the bare minimum things that you need to do. In order to really speed up your career progression, you need to find ways within your organization to apply your skills to add value, which ultimately translates to more revenue for the business or reduced costs for the business, right? And on top of that, you need to learn to manage relationship with your key stakeholders and leaders so that they trust you and listen to what you have to say. Ultimately, everything that I just mentioned will determine how successful you are in the corporate world and how fast you can advance. In order to earn a higher salary, you need to solve harder or more valuable problems. And you do that by either, you've guessed it, increasing revenue or reducing cost. Using software engineers as an example, right? These people are paid very well. And that's because they build digital products that bring in companies millions and sometimes billions of dollars. AKA, they solve very hard and very valuable problems for the companies that employ them. And in my case, I found success by constantly working on myself, sharpening my skills, and proactively solving problems that add value for the companies that employed me. And one thing that I can't emphasize enough is that busy does not equal to productive, right? You can be busy digging a hole all day, but at the end of the day, if these holes that you dug doesn't help anybody out in any way, right? You wasted your time. You have to relentlessly prioritize projects that actually help the company And if you're a knowledge worker, it doesn't really matter which field you work in. I believe everything I mentioned in this video can add a lot of value to your everyday working life. Last but not least, I do recognize that some companies will not reward you for doing good work. And unfortunately, that's just the reality sometimes, right? Life's tough. It happens. And if you find yourself in that situation, I truly believe you need to do what's best for you and your family and find the next opportunity that's going to treat you right. Well, that covers it. That's how I went from debt broke to making 150K plus within 5 years. My name is Oliver Pan, and I post content on what I do as a data analyst, career development, and pretty much just my thoughts on the world around me. And I put these videos out as a hobby. And if you found this valuable, all I ask is that you share this with a family member or friend that you think it might help. If you're on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, on Instagram, the full video is available on YouTube, and you can find it in the link in my bio. All right, that's it for today. Thank you again for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day.